our position on the efforts by anti-Indian elements to hold a so-called Khalistan Referendum is well known. It has been conveyed to the Canadian government, both in New Delhi and in Canada.
This Khalistani agenda, this propaganda is assuming dangerous proportions. Now, ladies and gentlemen, those people who've been pushing to separate Bharat, break Bharat, these anti-India forces are now sowing the seeds of serious divide where they're trying to say that Sikhs and Hindus are different. Hindus are the others, the othering. And there are young, second, third, fourth generation Hindus who are part of this, which is a serious worry. One does not care much for the likes of this Pannum and gang, but what they're being able to do on Canadian soil with the numbers that they're being able to gather is a cause for concern. India has seriously raised these issues with the Canadian government, but should we have truck and business with Canada if they continue to allow this secessionist and this trying to sow the divide, seeds of divide between Sikhs and Hindus as people, as ethnicity, and trying to say that Sikhs are different from Hindus and Hindus need to be hated under the garb of freedom of speech? That's the big question. Hari Sikkaji is with us, Abhijit Iyer Bitra and Patte Suresh Krishnamurthy with us this evening. Is this entire Khalistani propaganda getting out of hand? Hari Sikkaji, the biggest concern, and I say namaste to everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. Hari Sikkaji, the Canadians who are there, they're all the Indians who have migrated. Or if there are 5,000 Canadians there, then there are about 15,000 people back home in India who are getting influenced in Punjab. It's a serious concern.
Serious concern it is, but we are failing on some aspects, and let's check at the ground level first. We are unable to tell people in Punjab where this word Khalistan came from. It was not by Guru Nanak. Guru Nanak, on the contrary, said, when he complained to God, when Babur attacked, he said, Khorasan khasmana kiya, Hindustan daraya. He used the word and he asked God, ताकि दर्द ना आया, आपको दर्द नहीं हुआ कि हमें हिंदुस्तान को, Guru Nanak said. So he referred the country as Hindustan for the first time. Now come to the word Khalistan. Where did it erupt from? We are unable to explain to people that it happened post Operation Blue Star. It was Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi and subsequently the Congress ploy to divide India or to create a Khalistan so that the votes and the things can be captured. And when this Blue Star happened, the Sikhs were very, very annoyed. When the killers of Indira Gandhi were immediately hanged, but 10,000 people killed and nobody was touched, not even FIR. So that created a lot of animosity within, and that was played up by whom? Your next door neighbor. Now come to the third point. Who's funding it? It's very easy. Punjab is an open border for drugs. So your money, 12,600 villages in Punjab, all drugged. Every village has lost 12 to 30 children, young students, male members of the family, and no questions asked. So that money has apparently funded. Now what happens in the system in Canada? When you land in Canada, and the first town is Brampton, or closer to the airport. So those people who land, for whatever reasons, they go as farmers and whatever. So the Gurdwaras fund them. You go to that place, visit those locations, and you will find that their roti, pani, kapda, makan, everything is taken care of. Who funds it? It's very simple. It's an open secret. I'll also explain it to you during farmers, this jung that happened, farmers agitation. What happened? It is known to government that Kejriwal took money from Khalistanis. It's an open secret. We are unable to make headway into that. So we are at fault in certain aspects of life. And not collect all Sikhs together. I have worked enormously during the making of Nanak Shah Fakir, which was approved down the line from from Akal Tak to SGPC. But select Khalistanis, headed by one Mr. Pannu. Unfortunately, one of his members was, without my knowledge, working with my film. And when he was sacked, removed for various reasons, including this, he was the one who played ball with or otherwise and made sure that there's a drama against Nanak Shah Fakir where it shows Guru Nanak Sahib was born to a Hindu family. He said, Manas ki jaat sab hai eko pehchan bo, ek noor te sab jag upja. He was born to a Hindu family. It was explained in Nanak Shah Fakir. 50 million followers of this film in 3-4 channels of the YouTube Geo Cinema and still the Khalistanis, handful of them, ensured that the film had to be taken out from the theatres because they were threatening theatre owners. Right. Handful of them. Collect all the Sikhs together. Suppose there are, say, X number of, say, 100 Khalistanis, 100 people, 100 Sikhs, suppose a number. Only 2 Sikhs would be believer in Khalistan.
Right.
Ask us. I'm a soldier. Ask us. Ask a student in a college.
No, I agree.
College.
I agree, Harry.
Their only biggest regret is. Their biggest regret is 1984.
Correct.
Why is Jagdish Titler, Kamal Nath?
I totally agree. I totally agree with you, sir. I totally
Why
agree.
Are they roaming free?
I totally agree with you, sir. But those two should also not be with Khalistan. That's what I'm saying. And if we are seeing youngsters, young generations in Canada being influenced like this, like you said, a handful are enough to try and derail an entirely good cause, like you gave your example of your own movie. Abhijit Iyer Mitra.
Thanks, Anand. So, see, first let's put this in perspective. 70,000 Sikhs turned up for this. The total population of Sikhs in Canada is 800,000, 8 lakhs. All right. So it turns out that the most of the Sikh population of Canada have voted with their feet and decided not to attend this referendum. Second, remember, Labour and especially Trudeau, who is one of the most disgusting practitioners of identity politics around, they've used this sort of Sikh extremist fringe to, beat up Sikhs, to terrorize Sikhs, and essentially impose the voice of an extremist minority on the community at large, to such an extent where we find that a lot of Sikh friends of ours who are really non-committal about any of this are just too scared to open their mouths. Do you remember Mr. Dosanjh, the premier of one of the things, who got beaten up and nearly killed by Sikh extremists? All of this is mainstreamed and utilized for political purposes by Justin Trudeau. More so Justin Trudeau than Labour, though Labour has always had this streak.
Right.
The third is the sheer hypocrisy of Justin Trudeau, which he always seems to get away with. That on one hand, he condemns the Russian referenda held in the 4 regions of Ukraine, and then goes around holding a referendum on a region, on a completely undisputed region of India in his own country without taking any action about it. Right? And finally, we need to understand, as Mr. Sikka said, there is a nexus between drugs, between Pakistan, between opening that corridor. Why was that corridor to Guru Nanak's birthplace opened? Right. In the 80s, it was Pakistani sort of paying Sikh terrorists to go do the killings in Punjab. These days, the Sikh community or certain elements of the Sikh community, either through terrorization aided and abetted by Justin Trudeau and the Labour government in Canada, they are paying money to the ISI to do certain things and see to it that certain things happen, which kind of enable an environment where, another sort of...
Well, but what happens is, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, like I said, in terms of the percentile, the opening of the Kartarpur corridor is landmark for crores of Sikhs or lakhs of Sikhs who've been wanting to go and pay darshan. So that's one point. But the presence of entities like Gopal Singh Chawla and others who are then seen around, and Rinda and some of the others who are also seen with members of the Akal Takht and others, that is a cause for concern. I agree, it's a security concern. Pattai Suresh Krishnamurthy, I have limited time. Yes, please.
Yeah, I mean, just to add on to what Mitraji was saying, we don't even have to go far to look for Justin Trudeau's hypocrisy. he was vehemently opposed, and he still is vehemently opposed, to any talk of secessionism from Quebec. And Quebec has been going through secessionist talks for a very long time.
Even from his father's
This whole
time.
notion of secessionism is kind of a sideshow for those of us who live and breathe in the United States and Canada. 13 states in the United States have constantly come up and said, oh, we're going to leave the country. There are cities that have said, we're going to leave the state, and so on and so forth. We kind of look at it as kind of a sideshow a little bit. But it is unfortunate that Canadian citizens, presumably those who are voting in this referendum, are presumably either Canadian PRs or probably even Canadian citizens. I wonder how they would react if the government of India took them up on their offer and said, okay, you guys want to leave India, fine, your passport's cancelled, goodbye. I don't know how they would react to that. This whole notion of secessionism and a quick exit every time you have some kind of a difficulty with the government is just silly.
Yeah.
The other very interesting thing is, if you look at a map of Khalistan that is being produced, it is entirely within the borders of current India.
Yeah.
Now, Punjab,
Yes.
of course, was divided in two by partition.
Yes.
There's a significant portion of Punjab
No, and
that
that's
is
where
still
the
inside
hypocrisy is.
Pakistan.
In fact, I remember when they tried to peddle this narrative, I called out Pannu when he ran away at that time. I said, where is the Khalistan if you're not asking for anything from Pakistan? Ask for all of that first. I have to wind up. We'll take this forward. We'll take this forward for the moment. I thank all our guests. Have run over time. Thank you for your time. Stay with us. Brass Tacks follows.